Kai stood before Wubin, demanding to know what was happening, where liwei was, and if something had happened to him. Wubin looked at him and reassured him that liwei was okay, urging him to leave, but Kai refused, insisting that if liwei was truly all right, he should be with him. Wubin remained silent, searching for the right words to explain. Kai stepped closer, pressing for answers, and Wubin finally explained that liwei had instructed him to remind Kai of his promise to take care of Amara. He urged Kai to leave, but Kai stood his ground, declaring that he would not move until he knew where liwei was and what was really happening. Before he could rush toward the building, a convoy of cars emerged, and Kai immediately stepped in front of one, blocking its path. Inside one of the vehicles, liwei sat beside his grandfather. He glanced at him, stating that he had to go speak with Kai, but his grandfather shook his head. Liwei, still keeping his eyes on him, reminded him that Kai was stubborn and would not leave until he saw him. He added that he was his grandson, and his grandfather should know that better. Without hesitation, he stepped out of the car. Kai immediately rushed to him, demanding to know what was going on and where he had been. Liwei pulled him aside, urging him to calm down. Kai could not. He was consumed by worry, thinking something had happened when Wubin had emerged alone. He leaned in, asking if liwei had captured the mastermind as intended. Liwei nodded. Relief washed over Kai, and he smiled, telling liwei that if the mastermind had been caught, they could go home, that Amara was waiting. He added that Ming had been calling, asking what was happening, and that Amara had been frantic with worry. She would be overjoyed to see him safe. Liwei's expression remained unreadable as he told Kai that he could not return to Amara just yet, that the mission was not fully complete. He instructed Kai to remember to look after her on his behalf. Confused, Kai pressed, asking why he could not return if the mastermind had been caught. Before liwei could answer, Wubin interjected, telling Kai that the situation was complicated and that he would explain everything later. Kai's eyes flicked between liwei and Wubin, insisting that he deserved to know what was happening immediately, that he had been waiting, and he would not accept delays. Liwei stepped closer, lowering his voice so that no word could carry beyond the space between them. He explained that the mastermind was not someone who could simply be killed, that removing a single head would not end the system, and that any impulsive action would render all their sacrifices meaningless. The only way forward, he said, was to enter the system itself, to allow it to believe it had won and then dismantle it from within. Kai stared at him, disbelief etched across his face, asking if that meant liwei was choosing power over justice, choosing the very force that had destroyed his family. Liwei's jaw tightened, but his expression remained controlled. He explained that this was not a choice. It was survival. If he resisted now, they would not only kill him, they would move on to another successor, another weapon, and the cycle would continue endlessly. Kai asked about Amara. At the mention of her name, liwei's composure nearly fractured, but he held it together. He explained that Amara could not be anywhere near this, that the closer she stayed to him, the greater the danger to her life. The people behind the system did not hesitate to eliminate weaknesses, and love was the first thing they destroyed. Kai argued that Amara deserved the truth, that she would understand and stand by him. Liwei shook his head, insisting that understanding was precisely what would get her killed. If she knew even a fraction of what was happening, she would react. And the moment she did, they would see her as leverage. For this plan to succeed, he said, everyone, especially Amara, had to believe that he had chosen the legacy willingly. Kai's voice broke as he asked if liwei truly planned to walk away from her without explanation. Liwei looked at him, really looked at him, and said that if Amara believed he had abandoned her, if she hated him, if she moved on, then she would be safe. This, he added, was the only way to protect her, without destroying everything. Silence fell between them. Kai clenched his fists, anger and helplessness colliding as he told liwei that what he was doing was cruel, that Amara would be destroyed by this. Liwei replied quietly that she already was. He instructed Kai to promise him one thing. No matter what Amara said, no matter how much she blamed him, Kai must never tell her the truth. If she ever tried to search for him or interfere, the system would notice, and there would be no turning back. Kai hesitated, then slowly nodded, the weight of the promise pressing heavily on him. Liwei thanked him, telling him that he was entrusting him with the most important thing in his life. Before Kai could respond, the security guards advanced, signaling that it was time. Liwei stepped toward the car, pausing only once to look at Kai. He instructed him to take care of Amara, to ensure she ate, slept, and did not isolate herself. If she asked about him, Kai was to tell her that he had chosen this path of his own accord. With that, Liwei turned away and entered the car without looking back. As the door closed and the convoy began to move, Kai stood frozen, watching the vehicle disappear into the distance, fully aware that from this moment on, nothing would ever be the same.